Before we go to chapter 2, I want to address a question from chapter 1.
当我们还没有进入第2章，我要回答一个问题。
In order to do this, let's read chapter 1, verse 16.
我们先读第1章第16节。你们为希伯来妇人收身，看他们临盆的时候，若是男孩，就把他杀了；若是女孩，就留他存活。
Here, Pharaoh has told the midwives to kill the boys when they're born.
那么这里呢，法老王告诉这些希伯来的这些的妇人收身的，来杀死这些男婴。
But verse 17 makes it clear that the midwives feared God and disobeyed Pharaoh.
17节很清楚告诉我们，但是收身婆敬畏神，不照埃及王的吩咐行。
And it says that they let the boys live.
这里说竟存留男孩的性命。
And so in verse 18, Pharaoh is angry and asks them why they have done this.
因此18节法老王很生气，问他们：你们为什么做这事？
So let's read their response to Pharaoh in verse 19.
我们一起来读这些收身婆对法老王的回答。收身婆对法老王说：因为希伯来妇人与埃及妇人不同，希伯来妇人本是健壮的，收身婆还没有到，他们已经生产了。
The question that is often asked is, are the midwives telling the truth or telling a lie?
我们每一次来到这里，有一个问题，就是这些收身婆到底是讲实话还是讲谎话？
Did they allow the boys to live and then lie to Pharaoh?
就是说，他允许这些男孩存留他们的生命，然后跟法老王撒谎。
And if they are lying, does God honor this?
那如果他们真的撒谎，上帝会不会喜悦他们这样做呢？
Verse 20 says God was good to the midwives.
那么20节告诉我们，神厚待收身婆。
Here are some answers to this question.
对这个问题有以下的答案。
One is to say that these midwives are disobeying Pharaoh while they are obeying God.
第一个答案就是收身婆他们不听从这个法老王，却顺服上帝。
Another answer is that they are stating what was generally true.
另外一个答案就是说，他们实在是讲实话。
In other words, it could have been a truth that the Hebrew women delivered their babies quicker than Egyptian women.
换句话说，这些的希伯来的妇女呢，比埃及人的妇女生得更快。
But then a further truth would have been, even if the midwife arrived on time, they still allowed the boy to live.
另外一个可能就是呢，这些收身婆到的时候呢，他让这些希伯来的妇女呢，顺利把他的男孩生下来。
It appears from this passage that whatever their motives are, God is honoring these women.
无论是什么的动机，神呢却很喜悦他们这样做。
It would be wrong to take this story and say, sometimes it's okay to lie.
我们不能以这段的经文来说，有时我们可以这样的撒谎。
That is not what this story is teaching.
那不是整个这个事件所要告诉我们学习的功课。
But also think about this. Okay? Think about it this way. If you were the Hebrew woman about to deliver a baby,
我们这样想，如果你是希伯来的收身婆，你要把你的孩子生下来，
and you knew the midwife had been ordered to kill it if it was a boy,
你是本身是希伯来的妇女，那么你将要生一个婴孩，你知道收身婆要来，要帮助你生这个男婴，
would you call for the midwife?
你会叫收身婆吗？
Most mothers would not call the midwife. They would just have the baby.
一般的妈妈不会叫收身婆来，他们就直接自己生。
So it could be that many times they call the midwife later.
很多时候呢，他们是之后才叫收生婆到来。
And so when the midwife arrived, she would think, oh, it happened so quickly.
因此呢，收生婆到的时候，他们就说：“哇，发生的那么快。”
But the Bible makes it clear these women disobeyed Pharaoh.
但是圣经很清楚告诉我们，收生婆不听从法老王，
It says they let the boys live.
他让这些男婴存活。
And I think that what their response to Pharaoh was something that was generally true.
那么关于他们对法老王的回应呢，是真实的。
Maybe at this time they didn't tell all of the truth.
可能这时候没有把所有的事实讲出来，
But this is not teaching us to do the same.
但是不是教导我们也要这样做。
The reason they disobeyed Pharaoh is because they feared God.
他们不听从法老王，因为他们敬畏上帝。
This is what is important about these women.
这是对这个收生婆的这些的很重要的功课。
Now let's look at chapter 2.
我们来看第2章。
It begins by saying that a man who was a Levite married a woman who was a Levite.
那么开始就告诉有一个利未家的人娶了一个利未女子为妻。
And verse 2 says that she had a son and that she raised him for 3 months.
告诉这女人怀了孕，生了一个儿子，就藏了3个月。
And she had to hide him for these 3 months.
那她必须把它藏起来，
Because Pharaoh had said, the last verse in chapter 1, that they would throw all the baby boys into the Nile River.
那么在第2章最后一节说，法老王会把他们这些丢在河里。
This is his second plan to control the population.
这是他第2个计划来控制这些的人口。
The plan with the midwives did not work.
但是那个计划呢，这个收生婆的计划呢失败，
And so now he intends to have all the babies drown in the Nile River,
所以他愿意把所有这些的婴孩丢进尼罗河，
or just the baby boys.
而且这只是男孩。
And verse 2 said that this woman saw that her little boy was good or beautiful.
那么这个女人呢，却看到她的儿子呢俊美。
Doesn't every mother think her little baby boy is beautiful?
不是所有的妈妈都看自己的孩子为俊美吗？
It must mean more than this.
但是呢，她一定呢比这个意思更深。
Apparently, she saw something special about this son.
很清楚的，她看到这个男婴，他的儿子呢很特别。
Beyond the fact that it was her son, something very special.
除了他本身是这位妇女的儿子之外，
So verse 3 says that she made a little basket that
那么
would float in the water.
他做了一个蒲草箱，
And she put him in this basket to float in the Nile River along the bank
那么就放在这个草箱，那么就放在这个河里面。
in the shallow water where there's no current,
那么这个是很浅的水，而没有浪。
where there would be reeds that would keep it from floating away.
那有这些的芦苇，那么把它浮在水上。
And the Hebrew word that's translated basket is very interesting.
那么希伯来文呢，翻译成这个箱呢，是很有趣的，
It's the same word that is used for Noah's Ark.
就是同样一个字来用在这个挪亚方舟。
It is like she has made a little ark for her baby boy.
就是说，这个妈妈做了一个方舟为这个婴孩，
And so he is floating in the water of the Nile River.
所以浮在这个河水尼罗河的上面。
And then verse 4 said that his sister stood at a distance to watch to see what happened.
那么这个第4节，他的姐姐就远远站着，要知道他究竟怎么样。
And verse 5 says that Pharaoh's own daughter came by and discovers the child.
那么第5节告诉我们，法老本身的女儿来到河边洗澡，就发现这个婴孩。
In verse 6, she heard him crying.
那么第6节就听到他的哭声，
And she had pity on him.
那么对这个孩子可怜他，
She said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children."
他就说 这是希伯来人的一个孩子。
She knew it was not an Egyptian baby.
他知道不是一个埃及的婴孩。
She also would have known her father had said these Hebrew sons should be thrown into the water.
他也知道他的爸爸说这些的希伯来的婴孩要丢进河里，
But she had pity for this little boy.
但是他可怜这个男婴。
And so in verse 7, Moses' sister speaks to Pharaoh's daughter.
第7节呢，孩子的姐姐对法老的女儿说，
And she will arrange for Moses' mother to be the nurse for this little boy.
那么他会安排这是摩西的妈妈成为他的奶妈来照顾他。
In verse 9, Pharaoh's daughter said, Yes, find a woman to be the nurse and I'll pay her.
那么第9节说，法老的女儿说，好，你请一个人来照顾他，我必给他工价。
This is very interesting. Moses' own mother is being paid to be the mother.
很有趣的，摩西的妈妈有工钱来照顾他本身的儿子。
God is in control, isn't he?
神在掌管。
Something else I think is very interesting.
还有一个很有趣的，
Remember, Pharaoh was not afraid of girls and women.
那么这个法老王对这个妇女呢，却不担心、不害怕，
Just kill the men and the boys.
杀这些的男孩子、这些的男婴。
But when you look at this story, women are the only ones important in this chapter.
但是你看整个的事件呢，妇女扮演一个很重要的角色。
The little boy that's born will be the deliverer.
这个男孩被生下来，就是要救赎以色列人。
It's his mother who was brave enough to save his life.
只有他的母亲很勇敢来救他的命，
It's his sister who watches over him.
是他的姐姐在看顾他。
Pharaoh's own daughter is the one who saves his life.
法老的女儿的确是那一位真正救他的。
But God was not afraid. Pharaoh was not afraid of women.
法老王却不怕这些妇女，
But these are the ones God uses to save and raise up the deliverer.
就是这些的妇女呢，神用他们来救他们。
I also think it's interesting in this story, we don't even know Pharaoh's name.
很有趣的，我们根本不知道这位法老王的名字。
But in chapter 1, verse 15, we are given the name of the two midwives.
第1章第15节告诉我们收生婆这2位的名字。
And later in the story, we will know the name of Moses' mother and his sister.
之后呢，整个事件我们知道摩西的母亲跟姐姐的名字。
You see, what's important is not your status in a community, but what are you in the eyes of God?
很重要的，我们可能在我们的社区有地位，但是我们在神的眼中的地位是什么？
Let's continue with the story of Moses.
我们继续谈到这个摩西的事件。
Look at verse 11.
我们来看11节，
It says that in those days, Moses saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew.
就是那一天，摩西看见一个埃及人打希伯来人的一个弟兄，
And Moses knew that this Hebrew was one of his brethren.
那么摩西认得这个人呢是他的弟兄。
Moses was raised in an Egyptian family
摩西在这个埃及的家庭长大，
in the house of Pharaoh,
在法老王的家族里面，
but he knows who his real people are.
但是他知道真正他的弟兄是谁。
And so we learn in verse 12 that he kills the Egyptian.
12节我们知道他杀死了这个埃及人。
And then on the next day, he sees two Israelites fighting each other.
那么第2天，他看到希伯来人跟希伯来人争斗。
In verse 13, he stops the fight and says, Why are you fighting?
那么13节就是说，他阻止这个争斗，那问他们为什么你们要打架呢？
But the response is surprising.
但是他的回应呢，非常的稀奇。
Let's read verse 14.
我们一起来读14节。那人说：“谁立你做我们的首领和审判官呢？难道你要杀我，像杀那埃及人吗？”摩西便惧怕说：“这事必是 被人知道了。
Now, in the New Testament, in the 7th chapter of Acts,
那么在这个新约这个使徒行传第7章，
it's a very long chapter about Stephen being stoned.
这个是关于司提反被打死，石头打死，很长的一章。
Before they kill him, he gives a long speech, a history of Israel.
当司提反还没有被打死之前，他讲了一个很长的信息。
And in verse 25, he refers to this story.
那么第25节呢，他就讲到这里的事件。
And he says that when Moses killed the Egyptian, he thought that the Israelites would understand that God had sent him as a deliverer.
他说，当摩西打死这个埃及人的时候，他们知道上帝已经预备一个救他们的人。
This is not made clear in Exodus, but it's very clear from the book of Acts.
在出埃及记我们不了解，但是在使徒行传看得很清楚。
So Moses feels at this point that God has called him to be a deliverer.
因此，摩西知道上帝呼召他来做拯救的工作。
So he saves an Israelite's life.
因此呢，他救赎了这希伯来人的性命。
But when he tries to restore peace between the two Israelites,
所以，当他要把两个希伯来人能够和好，
they respond as basically, "Who are you? Who put you in charge?"
那么他们的自然的回应是说：“你是谁？谁让你这个权柄来管我们？
Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?
你要杀我们，像你杀埃及人吗？”
And now Moses is afraid.
这时候，摩西很害怕。
Apparently his people will not follow him.
那么很清楚，这些的他自己的百姓不跟从他，
And now Pharaoh will come after him.
那么法老呢就会追踪他，
And so he runs away
他逃跑了。
and he will go to a land called Midian.
那么他就来到米甸的地方，
This is mentioned in verse 15.
第15节会提到。
Now in the land of Midian, he will live there for 40 years.
他在米甸地居住了40年。
And he is 40 years old when he leaves Egypt.
当他离开埃及，他已经是40岁了。
We also learn this from the 7th chapter of Acts.
我们也可以从使徒行传第7章能够知道。
So at the beginning of chapter 2, he is born.
所以开始的第2章出埃及记呢，他已经出生了。
But by verse 15, he is already 40 years old.
但是来到第15节呢，他已经是40岁了。
We're moving very quickly in his life.
我们在他的人生里面，我们发现我们很快已经进入他的进展的里面。
And when we get to chapter 3, he will be 80 years old.
那么来到第3章，他已经是80岁。
But the rest of the book will cover the last 40 years of his
但
life.
是其余的出埃及记呢，就讲到他最后的40年。
And so when he arrives in Midian, he meets this family.
所以他来到米甸地的时候，他都遇到这个家庭。
In verse 18, the father's name is Ruel.
那么在第18节，这位父亲叫做刘尔，
And they take him into his family, and he marries one of his daughters.
他接受他到他的家庭里面，然后娶他们的女儿。
Verse 21, we see that her name is Zipporah.
那么21节告诉这个女孩子名叫希波拉。
Her name is a word that means, refers to some sort of small bird.
那么希波拉这个名字的意思就是一个很小只的鸟。
And then Moses and Zipporah have a son mentioned in verse 22.
那么希波拉和摩西有一个儿子，那么22节有提到他的名字，
His name is Gershom.
就是歌顺。
And his name means stranger there.
那他的意思呢，就是一个什么寄居者。
Probably he was called stranger there because Moses was a stranger in Midian.
可能他称他的儿子为寄居者，因为他本身摩西就是不是住那个地方一个寄居者。
And then the last 3 verses of the chapter,
那么这一章的最后3节里面，
it begins to set the stage for Moses returning to Egypt.
就是预备告诉我们摩西开始要回到埃及。
Let's read verse 23.
我们一起来读23节。过了多年，埃及王死了，以色列人因做苦工，就叹息哀求，他们的哀声达于上帝。
It says that the sons of Israel cried out.
这告诉我们以色列的子民呼吁，
It doesn't say to whom they cried.
没有说他们哀声哀求哪一位，
Perhaps it was to their true God,
可能对他们的真神他们哀求，
but it's very clear that God heard them.
但是很清楚告诉我们，这些的哀声达于上帝。
But it also says in verse 24, God remembered his covenant.
很清楚24节说，上帝纪念他们与他们所立的约，
His promise that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
就是他所应许给亚伯拉罕、以撒、雅各。
And in verse 25, he saw the sons of Israel.
25节说，上帝看顾以色列人，
He has heard their cry, and he has seen their condition.
听到他们的哀求，看到他们的情况，
And it has brought out compassion in God.
那么就带出上帝对他们的怜悯的心。
He always hears when his people cry out.
每一次当他的百姓呼求哀求的时候，上帝都听。
But when it says that God remembered,
但是这里说上帝纪念，
this is a very important expression.
这个是一个很重要的表达
It can be misunderstood.
它可以误解。
God does not remember in the same way we remember.
上帝的记得不像我们能够回忆，
We usually remember something that we forgot.
我们常常能够想到，因为我们已经曾经忘记过，
Or we're just not mindful of, and somebody said something. Oh, then I remembered.
或者说我们不留意对方所说的，那忽然间我们想起。
Well, God cannot forget.
但是上帝不会忘记的，
He cannot forget because he knows all things.
因为他是全知，说他不会忘记。
Every time you come to the expression, God remembered,
每一次我们来到圣经这样的记录，神纪念，
it means he is about to do something.
这告诉我们他开始要行动，
He is going to act.
他要做一些的事情。
The action that he will take is going to be in line with what it said he remembered.
他的行动就是根据他所讲的，他所纪念的。
So this means that God is about to act according to the promises he made to Abraham.
就告诉我们，他将会行他对亚伯拉罕所做的应许。
You see, the Bible never says that God forgets your sin.
圣经从来没有说上帝忘记了我们的罪恶，
It says he will not remember them.
但是他说我不会记得你的罪。
We will come to this later in the book, and we'll talk about it.
我们谈到出埃及记的后半段，我们会提到这一点。
And so it concludes by saying God has heard their cry and has looked upon their condition.
所以这里的小节就是说，上帝听到他们的哀求的声音，上帝要行动。
And so the stage is set, and God is going to act.
那么这里说，上帝要做一些的事情。
In chapter 2, we have gone through 80 years of Moses' life.
第2章，我们经过摩西的80年的人生。
So I want to say to you personally,
我要对每一个人这样讲。
in 1 Corinthians 3, verse 8,
那么哥林多前书第3章第8节，
it says, if anyone loves God, he is known by God.
这里说哪一位认识神，神知道我们。
We should cherish this thought.
我们要珍惜这个观念。
No matter what difficulties we are going through, God has not forgotten us.
无论我们在什么艰难的情况，神认识我们。
We don't need to jog his memory.
我们不必挑起他的记忆。
Also, 2 Timothy 2:19
那么提摩太后书第2章19节，
says that God knows those who are his.
神知道那些属他的人。
If we love God, we can be assured that he knows us and he remembers us.
当我们爱神的时候，我们可以有把握，他认识我们，我们是属他的。
Now let's begin with chapter 3.
我们来开始第3章。
In this chapter, Moses will begin to have this personal meeting with God.
那么这里摩西本身有一个跟神的会面，
God is calling Moses to be a prophet.
上帝呼召摩西做他的先知。
And Moses will be one of the greatest of prophets.
那么摩西会其中一个伟大的先知。
Maybe you do not think of Moses as a prophet.
可能你对摩西，你认识摩西，你认为他不是先知。
Often we think of Isaiah and Jeremiah as the prophets,
可能你认为以赛亚、耶利米是先知，
men who wrote books of prophecy.
就是那些写这个关于预言的预言书，
Men who spoke about the future.
就是那些讲到关于将来的事情。
But a prophet was more than this.
但是先知是超过这些。
Basically, a prophet was one who spoke for God.
基本上呢，先知就是代表神来宣言，
Spoke his words to the people.
讲神的话，讲给百姓听。
Sometimes it was about the future.
有一些是关于将来的，
But most of the words of the prophets were for the current day.
很多时候先知的话是讲给当代的人听。
God speaking to the people what they needed to hear now.
神要讲那些话语，关于当时情况的人的需要给他们听。
In the book of Deuteronomy, in chapter 18, Moses will say that God will raise up a prophet like me.
那么申命记第18章，神说，神要对摩西说，要兴起一位像摩西这样的人。
This is a reference to Jesus.
这个是讲到关于耶稣。
You see, Jesus as a prophet was compared not to Isaiah, but to Moses.
耶稣被比较不是跟这个以赛亚，乃是跟摩西来比较。
So Moses will be God's spokesman.
因此呢，摩西成为上帝的代言人。
Knowing that he is the one called to speak for God makes this chapter very interesting.
那么知道了摩西是代表神来向他百姓讲话，读第3章的时候就很有意义了。
Because Moses will say, I'm not very good at speaking.
因为摩西说，我不是很会讲话的人。
So let's look at this story.
我们来看这个事件。
Moses will have a vision in the first 6 verses.
第6节呢，摩西有一个意象。
In verse 1, it says he came to a mountain called Horeb.
那么第1节说，他来到一个山，名叫何烈山。
Horeb means wasteland or desert.
那么何烈就是说，这个是个旷野，
It is another name for Mount Sinai.
是这个西乃山的另一个名称。
And Moses is out in the field watching his father-in-law's flocks.
那么摩西就在这个的田野里面、野外里面看守、牧羊这些羊群。
In verse 2, an angel of the Lord speaks to him.
那么第2节是说，耶和华的使者向他说话。
Moses noticed a bush that was on fire, but it did not burn up.
那么摩西知道，那么这些的经济被烧到没有烧毁。
In verse 3, it says that Moses said, I must go and see what this means.
那么第3节说，摩西说，我要过去看这个大异象。
So in verse 4, he looks at the bush.
第4节，摩西就看了这个经济。
And then God speaks to him from this bush.
那么神就在这个荆棘里面向他说话。
In verse 4, God says, Moses, Moses.
第4节，神对他说：“摩西，摩西。”
And then Moses says, Here I am.
摩西说：“我在这里。”
Notice verse 2 said, An angel of the Lord was in the bush.
注意第2节，耶和华的使者从荆棘里。
Verse 4 says, God speaks from the bush.
那么第4节，耶和华从荆棘呼叫他说。
It seems that the angel of the Lord was God himself.
看起来耶和华的使者就是神本身。
In Acts chapter 7,
那么在使徒行传第7章，
again, when Stephen was speaking,
那么同样的，当司提反讲话的时候，
he also says that this angel was God.
那么他提到耶和华的使者就是上帝。
Well, so far, Moses is just curious.
那么来到这里呢，摩西很好奇，
What is this bush that won't burn up?
为什么这个荆棘烧而不毁呢？
But now that he's heard a voice, and the voice of God,
但是他听到一个声音，却是神的声音，
he becomes afraid.
他开始惧怕。
Let's read verse 5.
我们一起来读第5节。上帝说：“不要近前来，当把你脚上的鞋脱下来，因为你所站之地是圣地。”
Moses thought he was on common ground,
他站在一个不是很普通的地，
just out in the field with the sheep.
是一个很普通的地，是一个羊群所在的地方。
But anytime God is there, it becomes holy ground.
但是每一个时候，神在那个地方就变成圣地。
And so God speaks again. Let's read verse 6.
神继续的讲，我们一起来读第6节，又说：“我是你父亲的上帝，是亚伯拉罕的上帝，以撒的上帝，雅各的上帝。”摩西蒙上脸，因为怕看上帝。
The voice has identified itself and said, I am God, the God of Abraham.
从声音，我们知道是上帝的声音。
And Moses, who was curious, is now afraid.
摩西原本是好奇，现在变成惧怕。
But God will give a message of assurance in verse 7.
但是上帝呢，给他一个安慰，在第7节。
Let's read 7 and 8.
我们一起来读第7、第8节。耶和华说：“我的百姓在埃及所受的困苦，我实在看见了；他们因受杜工的匣子所发的哀声，我也听见了。我原知道他们的痛苦，我下来是要救他们脱离埃及人的手，领他们出了那地，到美好宽阔流奶与蜜之地，就是迦南人、赫人、亚摩利人、比利洗人、西魏人、耶布斯人之地。”
So God is telling Moses that he has heard the cry of the people.
那么上帝告诉摩西：“我已经听到百姓的哀求。”
And he says, I have come down to deliver them.
那么上帝说：“我下来是要救他们。”
But you know, God does more than just deliver.
上帝比救他们的工作做得更多。
He says, I'm going to take them to the land I promised.
他说：“我要把他们带进应许之地。”
In verse 9, he says, the cry of the sons of Israel came to me.
第9节说：“现在以色列人的哀声达到我耳中，
I have seen their oppression.
我已经看见他们被欺压。”
You know, this reminds me of Pharaoh's daughter.
这让我想起法老王的女儿，
When she saw baby Moses in the Nile River,
当她看到这个摩西婴孩在这个尼罗河的时候，
she heard his cry.
她听到他的哀哭的声音，
She went down to see.
她本身下去看，
She brought him up.
她把他救起
She
来，
delivered him.
她已经救了他，
She had compassion on him.
她对他有怜悯的心。
The very same words are used of God here.
同样用同样的字来形容上帝，
He came down
他下来，
and he heard their cry and had compassion.
他听到那个哀声，他对他们有怜悯的心，
So he promised to deliver them and take them to the promised
他
land.
应许要救他们，把他们带进应许之
You
地。
see, chapter 2 ended by saying he remembered his promise to Abraham.
记得第2章他纪念亚伯拉罕的约，
They would be a great nation.
他们会成为大国。
This has already been fulfilled. There are over 2 million people,
它已经实现了，已经超过200万的人口，
but they do not live in their land.
但是他们不住在自己的地，
And this is part of the promise.
而且这个是属于应许的一部分。
So God assures them that He will fulfill all of the promise.
神保证他会把所有的应许实现。
So God has made a special appearance to Moses.
因此呢，上帝呢有很特别在摩西的面前显现。
When God appears in a way that you can see Him, we call it a theophany.
所以当上帝愿意让我们看见呢，是神的显明。
God appearing in a visible form.
神在我们肉眼所看到，能够看到他。
This happens several times in the book of Exodus.
那么在出埃及记就发生了很多次。
This is one of the most important.
那么这个是其中最重要的。
But why did God choose a burning bush?
但是为什么他要选择一个被燃烧的荆棘里呢？
The passage does not tell us why.
这章没有告诉我们原因，
But perhaps it was an attention getter.
可能就是叫我们能够注意。
Something that would cause Moses to turn and become curious.
那么就是让摩西能够看而感觉好奇，
But also to reassure him of his presence with Moses.
但是也是要保证摩西说：“我跟你同在。”
And to make it easier for Moses to believe it was truly God who was speaking.
也一个目的就是说，对摩西来讲，使他更加的容易来相信。
And often in the Bible, fire is used to symbolize God's presence.
那么很多时候，整本圣经以火来形容神的同在，
Or his power, or his judgment.
或者是他的全能，或者是他的审判。
But he told Moses, remove your sandals, you're on holy ground.
他告诉摩西：“脱下你的鞋，你在圣地。”
An important lesson for Moses.
那对摩西来讲是一个很重要的功课。
Use caution when approaching God.
当我们来到神的面前，我们必须谨慎。
Don't come to God like you would go to someone else.
我们来到神的面前，不像我们来到人的面前。
You come with reverence.
我们来到神的面前，要存敬畏的心。
He's an awesome God.
他是一个可畏的神。
And so God has now spoken to Moses and expressed his concern for his people.
现在上帝已经对摩西所讲话，也听到他百姓的哀求。
So far, so good.
那么到为止很好，
But the next message to Moses will cause great concern.
但是另外一个信息呢，就带来了一些的顾虑。
Now, the idea of the promised land is important.
那么那个观念对于应许之地呢是很重要的。
It's one thing to be God's people, but living in another land.
那么关于神的百姓住在异地呢，不是他们百姓的地呢，是一方面。
But if they can live in their own land, it will give stability.
但是如果他们能够住在自己的地方呢，会给他们有这个安全感，
And it will help the nation have its own identity.
就是对他们自己的国家呢，他们能够认识他们的地位。
We are Israel, and this is our land.
我们是以色列人，这是我们的地土。
It would help them to have continuity over the years.
那么会帮助他们会在这个地里面继续成长。
And it's called a land flowing with milk and honey.
那么就告诉我们呢，是流奶与蜜之地。
The idea seems to be that both the livestock and the plants would both be abundant.
意思就是说，他们的畜类，他们的植物呢会很茂盛。
In this land, God will provide all of their needs.
在这块地呢，神会供应他们一切的需要。
And now he continues to talk to Moses and calling him to be a prophet.
那么上帝继续跟摩西讲话，而呼召他做他的先知。
Let's read verse 11.
我们一起来读第11节。摩西对上帝说：“我是什么人，竟能去见法老，将以色列人从埃及领出来呢？”
Here is Moses' first excuse.
这个是摩西第一个的借口。
And God said in verse 10, I will send you to Pharaoh.
第10节，上帝说：“我会差你到法老王面前。”
And Moses' first excuse is, Who am I?
第一个，摩西的借口是：“我是什么人？”
It seems that he feels like he's inadequate.
那么看起来他认为他自己不足够，
As though he's saying, God, you've chosen the wrong person.
就告诉神：“你选择了错误的人。”
But let's think back to when Moses was 40 years old.
但是我们回到当摩西是40岁的时候，
When he killed an Egyptian who was hurting an Israelite.
他杀了一个埃及人，在欺负希伯来人。
It seemed there he thought he was to be the deliverer.
看起来他就是那位拯救以色列的百姓的人。
But now, 40 years later, it seems he's forgotten.
40年之后，看起来摩西已经忘记了。
40 years he's lived in Midian,
40年他在米甸地居住，
away from his people,
离开他的百姓，
out of sight, out of mind.
他没有看到，也忘记了。
Once he was a man determined to be the deliverer of his people.
曾经他愿意拯救他自己的百姓，
And now he's a man who says, Can you choose someone else?
他现在变成一个人说：“你可以另选一个人，
I'm not adequate.
我不足够。”
But notice, he doesn't say, This is a bad idea.
他没有说这个是个很坏的主意，
He seems to agree that God should deliver the people.
他可能赞成上帝要拯救他的百
He
姓，
does not argue about this.
他没有跟神来争闹这件事情，
But he does not want to be the one.
但是他不愿意成为那一个人，
He seems to distrust himself.
他看起来他不相信自己，
I can't do this.
我无法做这个事情。
Not trusting yourself is okay if it leads you to trust God.
如果我们对自己没有信任，是可以的，而因为这个不信任自己，能够引我们到信任、相信神。
But Moses was not willing to trust God.
但是呢，摩西的问题是他不相信神。
Anytime you feel like I'm not adequate for what God wants me to do,
哪一个时候你觉得我不足够，
that's okay.
那是可以的。
Christ is our sufficiency.
基督就是我们一切。
God makes us adequate in the strength of Christ.
神借着基督的能力，使我们能够成为有能力。
Anything God calls me to do in His name, I am not adequate.
每一次神呼召，用他的名来呼召我的时候，我感觉是不足够的。
Even when I'm doing it this very moment.
甚至是现在这个时候，我这样的教导，
I must rely upon God.
我一定要倚靠上帝。
So don't be discouraged when you feel like I can't do this.
因此不要灰心，当你说我不能做这件事情，
I'm up against too much.
这个工作太大了。
Let your distrust of yourself turn into trust in God.
对你自己的不信任，引你到完全信靠上帝。
Well, let's look at God's response to Moses.
我们来看上帝对摩西的回应。
Let's read verse 12.
我们来读第12节，上帝说：“我必与你同在，你将百姓从埃及领出来之后，你们必在这山上侍奉我，我就是我打发你去的证据。”
It's interesting that God does not argue with Moses.
那么很有趣的，上帝没有跟摩西来争闹这件事情。
He doesn't so much answer him as respond to him.
那么他其实就是没有真正的回答他，就是告诉他。
And mainly he says, I will be with you.
那么主要是说，神说：“我必与你同在。”
Moses said, Who am I?
那么摩西说：“我是什么人？”
But that's not important.
但是那个不重要，
What is important is God with you?
很重要就是说，神有没有与你同在？
What is important is who is God?
很重要的是，到底这位神是谁？
Throughout the rest of this book, we're going to see the importance of the teaching that God is with his people.
整本书出埃及记很重要的就是说，上帝与他的百姓同在，
And God is with his servants.
上帝与他的仆人同在。
In chapter 32, when they make a golden calf and worship it,
当来到32章的时候，百姓做一个金牛犊来敬拜。
and God says to Moses, "You take the people to the promised land. I'm not going."
上帝对摩西说：“你领百姓进应许之地，我不会跟你们去。”
Moses is unwilling to go without God.
摩西呢，却不肯去应许之地，因为上帝不去。
And we will look at that later in the week.
那么在这个星期的后半段呢，我们会读到。
We'll pause for a moment and we'll take a break before we go into the rest of this story. But is there a question right now?
我们要停止休息大概10分钟，或许现在有人要发问题。
Let's take a break for about 10 minutes.
我们休息10分钟。